You know how they're always showing me as backwards? I always joke that I'm backwards. Oh boy, I hope I can get this out. You know, a lot of people will not be grateful for things because they don't recognize to be grateful for them. They are just normalized in their life and they take them for granted now, right? Like they know it's not like they no longer appreciate them. They never necessarily appreciated them, but they didn't necessarily, it wasn't out of ill intent. It wasn't malicious. It wasn't, it's kind of like the silver spoon idea, but it's not that what they're showing. They're showing just like everyday people. We all get adjusted to whatever we're adjusted to, right? Like whatever we have normalized, what we've lived, what we've experienced. And so many people are not appreciative of all of the amazement around us all the time. And so it was kind of showing the idea of like the Wizard of Oz or, this thing where it's like, shit goes south and you're like, oh God, I had it so good. Take me home, right? And now you appreciate, now that you've seen the ugly. But they are showing me as backwards. It's like you only knew the ugly and you were appreciative then. So it's like most people start their life good or something, which I don't know that that's necessarily correct. That's why I forgive all this. This is just the picture they're painting. And so like I said, so it's like this whatever has been normalized, people just don't appreciate. And then again, they just show me so I can verbalize. I'm not saying I'm such a saint by any stretch of the imagination. But they're showing how I was always grateful in the hell. And so when it gets good, it's later in life and it's like you're really going to appreciate it, right? Where it's like, oh, you do know how good it feels to feel good, because like most people are afraid of the unknown, but the best way I can describe it is like they keep showing it's like you've lived at rock bottom. So there's nothing but better. So anything unknown is better. So it's backwards for me. It's like the opposite for me. Where it's like, oh no, anything has to be better than this shit, right? It's like there's nothing but up. And but even in the midst of the chaos or the shit or like the down times, I would find the silver lining, so to speak, where it's like it's not even finding the silver lining. It's just the fact that there is plenty for us to always be grateful for, and it could always get worse. So it's better to feel better no matter where you are. And don't get me wrong, they've taught me many lessons along there too. They don't like the fact that I tolerate so much for so long. But again, that's normal for me. So it's not even necessarily awareness to me, in that I'm not aware that I'm technically tolerating, right? Like there's a lot of times where that's just normal for me, where they're like, that shouldn't ever be normal. And when they point it out, I'm like, oh shit. But again, it is normal. So I don't have the same ping that other people would have. Other people could be in the same scenario and would jump sky high, be like, get me the fuck out of this. I don't have that ping. And so, they've tried to work on readjusting that volume for me. Nonetheless, I thought this was an interesting way that I guess some of us are like that. Some of us are backwards, where it's like, so using that same Wizard of Oz, it's like we always were in the wonky hell. And so getting over the bridge to quote home is like heaven, right? It's like, it's not going back. That never existed. So it's like, oh my God, that's pure bliss. Who knew, right? This idea. And so I guess it's backwards in that sense, where most people, I guess, it's like They were in heaven, didn't know it, didn't appreciate it. They go through hell and they're like, oh, I appreciate it now, take me back. And then they go back and they change their ways and start being more appreciative of everything. And I guess some people don't experience that and then do. Although, yeah, I mean, this is why we know it's definitely not me, because I, maybe have had rough times, but then I've had really great times, and then I've had really rough times again. So it does make me want, there's nothing in the past I want, but I mean, I think it's like just the idea of the lack of challenges or tests, so to speak. More peace and ease and calm and rhythm and smoothness would be nice. And it is funny that they're showing all of this to me today. I had gone for a walk on the beach this morning, and I have one of those doors that you lock it with a code, and so it's battery operated. And of course, there's a key backup, but I haven't given one of my neighbors the backup key yet. And I came back. Guess what? The batteries had died. I couldn't get in the house. And of course, of all mornings, there's not a neighbor around. I have no phone. I have just on flip-flops. I mean, I just was so unprepared. I just expected to go for a morning walk on the beach and come right back home. And so I had to walk down to the police station so I could borrow their phone and get a locksmith. And of course, they want to charge an arm and a leg. And he came out and then he had to drill into the door because he couldn't replace it because of the kind of lock it was. I mean, it was just one of those days where it's funny they're showing me this now, because I was saying, I was so grateful this morning. I was so appreciative, and I was going through my gratitude and appreciation list on the beach to come back to that. And actually, I was totally calm through the whole process. But when it was finally over and there were shards of metal all over the place, and the guy didn't, he wasn't cleaning it up. He was just coming to come out, make a mess in 3 minutes, charge me an arm and a leg, and leave. I started to get a little cranky, and I was like, you know what? Enough of these like little bumps in the road. And yet the good of the day far outweighs those little hiccups, and we have them all day long. I had several other little hiccups like that today, but they are what they are, right? Like that, you just take a deep breath and refocus on what you do want. And that is one of the things I'd like. I'd like to have more peace and ease and calm without the hiccups. So what is it? So there's a word they're getting me to say, but I can't find it. It's like, it's rhythm. It's almost like these hiccups are in such rhythm. It's like I can't seem to catch my breath long enough before another bump comes in. And it's like, okay, no more of that. Let me catch my breath and keep my breath. No more hiccups, no more tests, no more challenges. No. Oh, that was the other thing they wanted. Sorry, this one seems to be long. The other thing they wanted me to talk about was around these. So I had been getting the nudge. They had told me like 5 or 6 times in the past 2 weeks to put a set of spare keys to a neighbor outside, like something. Figure out something with a set of spare keys. And so when we were talking about that this morning, like, oh, I guess I should have fucking listened, because now it's costing me so much time and energy and money. And I said, why didn't I listen? Like, was it laziness? Right? Because it would have taken me all of what? Not even 5 minutes. Like, what was the problem? Why? When I got those nudges, what was it? Why didn't I just do it? I was told so many times, I can't even tell you. And the more I thought about it, the more I thought, you know what? It wasn't laziness. And this is interesting. We might have to talk this one out a little bit. It was more like I have been so high-strung and so dotting my I's and crossing my T's to such a degree that it's like overdone, even for me. Like, overthinking, it's like almost over perfecting or something. And I'm trying to like fucking relax, because it's not going to be. But it's like I've been trying to, it's like make do with what is, in the sense that it is what it is. So let me at least make it as comfortable as I can for my sake. Like, even, it's funny, I'll even talk to Chad about it, and she'll even say things like, it's not a showroom, or it's not, who cares what anybody else thinks, or something like this. And I'm like, oh, I could give a fuck what anybody else thinks. I don't even have anybody over. It's not about that for me. It's because for me, I need my environment and the place where I am the majority of the time to be organized and neat and in such a state that it's calming for me, right? I don't like to have chaos every which way because my mind is already in a million places. I need my environment to reflect calm, ease, peace, so that I can slow down and focus. And so there are times where I will overdo it or hyperfixate in what appears to be like perfecting things. And it's more like, it's not going to be perfect, and I'm well aware of that. It's more like I'm doing the best I can with what I have, and let's make it as perfect as can be for me to get to some peace and ease, right? Okay, so all that said, it was almost like I was trying to let go, right? Like drop the bone, so to speak, with just fucking relax. You just moved in. The batteries are not going to die. You can get to that when you get to that. You've been running ragged, doing a million different things. It's fine. It's fine. So I kind of think it was that. I think it was like, the devil on my shoulder, so to speak, being like, no, don't. It's fine. You're not going to. So it's an interesting, I don't know if you can hear all of that. It's like, because normally I'd be like, it's just lazy, just do it. But it wasn't that I was being lazy. I think I was just being, and wasn't even trying to be defiant. It was more like just trying to relax and deal with stuff as it comes, not thinking clearly it through well enough. And normally that's what I do, is I overthink it. I think things to such a fault that nothing slips through the cracks. But that can also be draining and exhausting on me to think all that stuff through all the time. And so I think it was also trying to give myself that break, but then almost like punishing myself for giving myself that break, right? It's like, well, you give yourself that break and look what happens. Maybe give yourself a break in a different area, but then we can beat ourselves up that way too, right? Like still not being kind. Like mistakes are going to happen. You're not going to catch everything. And this one's a hard one because it's like, well, you're probably right, but I did catch that one. I told myself 5 or 6 times in the past few weeks to put a spare set of keys someplace. So it's like, well, I don't know what else they want me to say about that. I think there's a lot of messages in there. And I think all of this always revolves around the same thing. It's like that self-love and that self-talk, and also that fine line of like, who are you being, again, not defiant, but defiant against, right? Like who are you harming? I think that's probably a really good question for a lot of people, because so many people misunderstand what self-love and acceptance is. And so they'll be relaxed on themselves, thinking that's the kindest thing to do. And it's like, is that the kindest thing to do? Right? Like, no, a lot of times being lazy is not the kindest thing to do. It's not what you really want. It's like, in this incident, it would have taken those 5 minutes. And when the battery died this morning and I came back to a dead battery, I could have been like, God, I love myself for putting that spare key, wherever. And, going to knock on the neighbor's door and be like, I need that spare key, right? So that would have been the kindest thing that I could have done for myself, is listening to all those nudges and reminders to make sure you do that, make sure you do that, make sure you do that. Hey, make sure you do that. Hey, is there a reason you're not fucking doing that, right? And so it's sometimes we have to learn the hard way. But I will say the other thing, after all that occurred, I kept thinking, okay, I hear you loud and clear. What else have I been avoiding? What else have you told me recently that I have been like, yeah, I'll get to it. and trying to quote, be relaxed, be more whatever. And it's like the wrong time or wrong question or wrong avenue to be relaxed with, right? It's like there are some things that we can give ourselves a break on. We can loosen up and lighten up about. And there's other things that they're not even real effort, right? It's just changing your mindset and just doing it quickly. So maybe that was the whole point of all of that, was more of the, what is loving to you? What is the kindest thing for you? And get to know what that really means versus giving yourself a pass all the time thinking that is self-love. That is not self-love. Giving yourself passes all the time is not self-love. That's not loving to you at all. It's setting you up for failure. It's setting you up for a struggle and heartache and anger and upset and frustration and all types of things unnecessarily. Why would you do that to yourself? Why would you put yourself in those positions? If you're aware. In other words, there's accidents, there's times, all these things can happen, and there's plenty of times that there's no need for them to. It's almost like choosing for them to, because we're not taking the proactive steps that we know to take. We know to take them. We're aware of them. All right, I'm just babbling now. Thanks so much for tuning in and listening. You can now purchase an audio journey with me using the link below.